Yes, guys, you know what time it is. It's your boy David at the Irish Hotspur, Ireland's #1 Spurs fan. And today we bring you the pre-match build-up as Tottenham take on Rangers at the Ibrox at 3 p.m. My niece is here. She just wants to say hi to everyone. Go on, say hi. Hi.
Hi.
Hello.
She couldn't help but come in and say hi to everybody. Of course, we are joined by co-host Jack. Of course, Philip, the Godfather, and Kuva99. Jack, how are you keeping, my man?
It's a good morning, Dave. You know, nice to wake up nice and early, prepare ourselves for this. Probably might be, I guess we'll get into it, but potentially the toughest, kind of preseason game that we're going to have. We are kind of the away side for this one. Looking forward to it. We're going to be able to show West Ham that it's not as difficult as it looks at the Ibrox.
No, 100%. Philip, how are you keeping, my man?
Yeah, very good, very good. This is no friendly today. This could possibly turn into a war. So Scotland versus England, they never take it lightly. So it'll be interesting to see how it goes. Very interesting.
It's exciting for sure. It's going to be a tasty one today. Kuva, how are you keeping, brother?
Yeah, doing well here. Really looking forward to this one. I think it's going to be a bit spicy, this game. It's got a history of it as well.
Yeah.
So we'll see how it goes.
That it definitely does. Let's see who's with us this morning, and then we'll get into it. We've got Coy's. Big yourself up, says big up everyone. Coy's, big up, my man. Good to see you in the building. Georgie Hill says big up, lads. Hope you're keeping well. Cannot wait for the new season. Only 2 weeks away. Rangers should be a good test. Can't wait to see Basuma and Perisic today. Come on, you Spurs. Come on, you Harris Army. Come on, you Flat Cap Army. And we get to see the majority of the new signings today, which is super, super exciting, Georgie. We've got El Saeed says, come on, you Spurs. Big up, El Saeed. We've also got the Hotspur says, come on, you Spurs. I actually expect this to be a tough game away at Glasgow. Those fans will be up for it. That they definitely will, for sure. And look, it's not an easy place to go, especially as an away fan, I can tell you that. We've got Rez Ardar says, a good test. Hope to see the new recruits playing, especially Basuma and Longley. I do think we'll get to see them, my man. It should be a great, great test. We also have THFC, Till I Die. Big up, Dermot. He says, ladies and gentlemen, live from Kildare, Ireland and Brooklyn, New York, introducing the best duo since Harry Kane and Son. So come on, Spurs. Let's beat the smaller Glasgow club. Come on, you Spurs. Big up, Dermot. Absolutely love that. We've got Luke. He says, afternoon, all you lovely people. Big up, Lukey boy. Great to see you in the building. We've got Nova Iceman. Good morning. Oh, big up, Nova Iceman. And then we've got Welsh guys. Big up, lads. Rangers are going down. Greetings to the Harris Army. Yeah, look, I think we'll win. It's not going to be easy. Not going to be easy. But I think we will win. Carl Higgins says, afternoon all. Come on, you Spurs. Big up, Carl Higgins. Let's welcome a few more. Who else have we got in here? We've got Ron. Big up, Ron. Ron Vignac. He says, waiting to see Basuma. It's Bamusa, my man. We call him Bamusa after Musa Dembele. Big up, Ron. Who else have we got here? We've got Jose De La Cruz. Big up. Come on, you Spurs. Big up, my man. Can you smell what the calf is brewing? Big up, Benji boy. Good to see you in. We've also got the Hotspur. Tom Hillier. Come on, you Spurs. Big up, everyone. Ricky as well. Big up, everyone. Big up, Ricky. We've got Zoe. Paddy Higgins. Big up, Paddy Higgins. Hope you're keeping well. Paul Holden. P.O. Block. Paul. Hotspur. Russ Vernon. Paul Mansbridge. And Faz Radfar as well. Big up, everybody. Everyone, before we do get into it, please make sure you smash that like button. It's customary. I rocked up to my parents' house yesterday. That's where I am right now, rocking the nation from a secret location. And look, I didn't walk in without, rubbing my feet on the mat and taking off my runners. So it's only courtesy that you smash the like on your way in here as well. And guys, feel free to stop us at any time with a super chat. We will get straight to it. It's a great way to highlight your comment in the comment section, and we'll all have a good discussion on it. We've already got a couple to get to, and then we will crack on. And it's Dark Sun G says, Spurs are upgraded when a Gooner fan journalist predicts reluctantly Spurs will finish second this season. Laughing my ass off. It shows how Gooners are finished. And look, Philip, we'll start with you on this one. I know you're not afraid of a bit of Gooner bashing. I know you like it.
Yeah, well, they seem to be more obsessed with our signings than their own at the moment. They're resorting to buying Manchester City rejects. We're buying players that actually can go somewhere. Yeah, it's I really feel sorry for the Arsenal fans. Really, I mean, they're living in our shadow for the last 6 or 7 years, and will continue to do so for the foreseeable future. As long as they've got a Lego man as the manager, and I mean, they're buying players. They spent money, but they're missing one important ingredient. We've got Conte. They don't. Conte can mold the players that we've bought into a winning unit. Whereas Arteta will just stumble along from one crisis to the next until Arsenal finally realise he's not up to the job and get rid of him. Then we might have something to worry about. We might bring in a decent manager. But I mean, for a Gunnar fan to say Spurs are going to finish second, I'll tell you, he'd probably be kicked out of the union for saying that.
Cooper, you anything you want to say Dark Song G here? He loves a bit of Arsenal bashing.
Well, Arsenal bash themselves, don't they? They were making fun of the signings we've been making, but they failed to address their glaring shortcomings in the team. Let's face it, they were after Basuma. They didn't get him. We got him, improved our team. What did they do instead of Basuma? Zinchenko? Is he suddenly a midfielder like Basuma? No. They still got the hole there that they wanted to fill. They're not doing it. I think some of their fans have woken up to that fact now that their transfer window is not great so far. They've signed some talented players. I think Jesus is a good player, so Zinchenko, but it doesn't give them the balance and grit that their team badly needs, and they're just not even a consideration this season. I'm expecting them to finish 6th or lower. I think United will finish ahead of them. They're on the way back down again. The process is it came to a simmer, and now it's just fading away again.
Look, I was just about to sing a song, so you're teeing me up carefully there, Kuva. So Champions League has faded away. No need to worry. You play on Thursdays. You fake COVID test. So we thrashed you in May. Stop crying, Arteta. I love it. I absolutely love that song.
You can't cry when you're made out of plastic, though, can you?
Melt.
It's probably melt. Probably start melting.
Somebody hasn't melted in the heat in the last few days.
Can't remove his hair anymore.
He wasn't seen in training, Philip. He wasn't seen in training. Had to stay inside and watch it from a distance.
That's right. Oh,
so Dark Sug G says Gooners are hyping Jesus when he scored against a very weakened Everton team during pre-season. Today is a match between men, and we will be ready. Jack, what would you say to Dark Sung G? I absolutely love that.
I mean, it's really not surprising, Dark Sung G, to see Fat Frank, already crumbling in the preseason. I'm not surprised that, he's getting found out. I mean, I thought he'd get found out by probably something a bit better than, kind of just some random MLS side. But, I guess, he's really showing, his true, abilities, Fat Frank over there. And Dark Sun G, I think I don't need to tell you this, but I do love the fact that Spurs have been kind of taking on sort of the toughest of tests this preseason, kind of the toughest of teams. And as well as I know we kind of were the home team, you could probably say in both legs of, or in both games of the K League as well as Sevilla. But then now we're kind of going into, the Ibrox where it's just going to be, completely, kind of the different scenario where everybody's going to be absolutely hating us and everybody's going to be kind of treating it as if we are kind of the regular away side. And I think it's just kind of nice, Dark Sun G, that we're not just beating up on teams over in the USA, kind of MLS teams, or, we're not just playing like FC Nuremberg or like something like that and winning 5-3. It's nice to see that we're actually playing real teams for once.
Yeah, it definitely is. It definitely is. And it's been a very, very good preseason, very challenging, which we will talk about, Dark Sun G. Big yourself up, brother. Big yourself up. Keela, your mother says hi. Do you want to say hi to her? Say hi. Do you hate Arsenal? The right answer is yes. No. Okay. We have to train you even more. Moondog says, good morning, lads. Big up, Moondog. I hope you're keeping well, my man. Good to see you in the building, brother. I hope things are good with you.
Hope he's enjoying the fry-up as well.
Yeah. Did he have one today?
He said he didn't know whether to do his usual bet or spend the money on a fry-up, so we convinced him to fry up.
Yeah, you're better off. You're better off only that you've probably seen Moon Boots maraud through the midfield with the Scottish wind flowing through his hair and crack one in from 40 yards. Big up, Moondog.
He still owes you an apology, Moondog. He still owes you an apology, in the mail for all the bets that he wasted on you.
Yeah, Golden Connor, she's my assistant, so she is. She's with me for the day. THFC till I die. Big up, Dermot. I hope you're keeping well, man. And he says, where's it gone? 1 second. He says the only reason, only one real team in London. Yeah, exactly. Here he is. Here he is. The only one real team in Glasgow, and it's not Rangers. Spurs will win today. We have the best manager since Birkinshaw and a very real chance to match the double side of the 60s. I am so excited. I mean, Philip, what would you say to Dermot here, my man?
Yeah, well, I agree wholeheartedly with him. They are there's only one team in Glasgow. It's not Rangers. Like living in Ireland here, if you support Rangers, you're a heretic, nearly. It's no, Celtic are the team. If I had a second team, which I haven't, they'd be Celtic. But I'll tell you one thing: Rangers will be up for this because England and Scotland do not get on at any level, soccer, rugby, anything like that. So it's going to be a test. I think we'll win today. Conte will not want to go down to a defeat to a team from a lower league, basically, which is what the Scottish Premiership is. And the real chance to match the double side, I hope so. Cautiously optimistic would be the word I'd use, but we definitely will get a trophy this season. I have no doubt about it.
Come on.
Yeah, I hope so. And look, Dermot, the Scottish League, it's only a glorified League of Ireland, my man. That's all it is. Big up, Dermot. Big up.
Good to know there's no religious sectarianism in football, isn't
there?
Oh,
no, we wouldn't have that at all.
No. And Moondog says, go for a fry. He's going for a fry up, sod the bet. Well, hopefully you get the full range, my man. You've got to go whole hog on that. So you do. You've got to get the whole you've got to get the compliments and everything. Wash it down with a nice big cup of coffee and get you pumped up for the game. Big up, Moondog. I hope you go and enjoy it, brother. I hope you go and enjoy it. But big yourself up, everybody. Right, we'll start cracking into the questions, guys. Of course, everybody, we are playing at the Ibrox. Kickoff is at 3 p.m. You can watch the game on Spurs Play. If you don't have that, it won't be shown on telly. And guys, the watch along here will start at 2:30, and hopefully we will see everybody back here at 2:30 for the watch along. Look, hopefully it goes well so I can save my rants today. I don't want to have to get annoyed. So hopefully we can get the job done. Now, in terms of injuries, Ben Davies is expected to miss out after picking up an ankle injury against Sevilla. It's touch and go whether he'll be back for the first game of the season. Yves Bissouma and Fraser Forrester could make appearances today after COVID-19 prevented them from taking part in Tottenham's tour of South Korea. Clement Langley missed the trip due to visa issues, so he'll be available today. And Jed Spence should be available today after signing this week as well. And Ivan Perisic has returned to training after arriving at the club with his sort of niggling injury. Remains to be seen whether we see any of that guy today whatsoever. But Jack, I mean, what's your thoughts heading into today's game, my man?
I feel like I'll just keep it brief. What I've been kind of thinking about is, there's still a few debuts that, we kind of yet to see, or kind of, players that we've yet to really see, kind of come into the team. Bissouma being one of them. I do kind of want to see Fraser Forster just to see what kind of an NBA-sized player just looks like in goal. Just want to see if he can even just pick up the goal with both hands and just move it, himself. He's really just that massive. As well, I think Perisic is the other one that we're kind of just destined, to see. I'm getting kind of sick of, seeing Sessegnon and Matt Doherty out there. I really am desperate to see Perisic come into the team. I don't really know what else to say apart from maybe a bit of Hill Messi action would be nice, Dave, just to see, the people of the Ibrox, be witnessing, kind of the beauty and the grace of Hill Messi. Papa Matasar would be nice to see as well, because I have been kind of secretly, kind of rooting for him because I feel like there is sort of a spot in the squad. It's not a good spot. It's like a spot that gets probably 900, maybe 1,000 minutes in total competitions. But I feel like there is a spot in the squad for Papa Matasar. And, first time we're actually going to be the away side, which is going to be very, very interesting.
Yeah, be interested to see how we do. Philip, with all of the new signings, and they're likely to play some part at the Ibrox today, will Conte and us fans get a better idea at how the team will be looking heading into the new campaign? Because in Korea, we didn't get to see many of the new guys. So do you think we'll get to see, what we're looking at heading into the season, how strong we are?
I think possibly today it'll be another experimental setup, a lot of substitutions. I think the team that plays next week against Roma will bear more resemblance to the team that plays against Southampton. That's usually the way, the build up towards the starting 11. Like today now, we're going to first look at Basuma, hopefully, and the first look at Langley, and the first look at Jed Spence, and possibly Perisic. So, I mean, that's going to be as interesting for Conte as also, because he won't have seen them in a competitive situation until now, and it will be competitive today now. There will be some flying tackles. So, yeah, I think that, again, today will be another experiment. I mean, the result, Conte will say the result doesn't matter. Well, it does to us, I think. We don't want to lose the Rangers, really.
Yeah.
And I don't think we will. But I think we will have a lot of substitutes, but next week will be more settled. There'll be less substitutions next Saturday in Tel Aviv or wherever the match is, and that will give us an indication of what's going to start the following week.
Yeah, no, 100%. And look, I hope so. And Coover, what's your feelings? Are you excited to see all these new players in today? And do you think we will look better than what we did in Korea?
Well, it's difficult to tell, isn't it? With so many, if we are going to have the majority of the new signings playing for a change, which would be nice. We don't know what we're going to get yet. It might take a little bit longer to gel than we're hoping. That's what pre-season's all about. But this test of fire today. It's you're not going to get an easy ride in Glasgow against Rangers when you're an English team. That's for sure. So I'm going for. I think it's a question of just seeing good individual performances. I'm not too worried about the result. I don't think there's going to be a huge amount of goals in it. I think it's going to be blood and thunder for a lot of the game. Probably a few little flare-ups even. It's going to happen. If we're doing that against Sevilla, we will be doing that against Rangers as well. But for me, Ben Davies is going to play, I think. It'll be fine. It's just he won't be for Rangers. Yeah, for Rangers, yeah. It's a centre-back, isn't he? He signed him from Liverpool, Ben Davies.
Yeah.
So, that could be fun. I wish they'd been on the same pitch at the same time. That could have been interesting. Funny enough, they both play the same position as well, isn't it? Centre back or left back.
Yeah, they're both the same.
Strange that, but I'm looking forward to the game. I think it's going to be feisty, to say the least. Let's see a bit of R9 scoring a goal. I think
that'd be nice. That'd be nice. And look,
he's taking a bit of stick, and there's no better way of answering that than scoring a goal, is there?
No, there's not. And look, we will actually touch on R9 in a bit, so we will. They're very interesting you brought up. You're probably thinking along the same lines as me, Coover. Jack, you've heard Philip, you've heard Coover saying, that it's a good test. It's going to be feisty. And look, Rangers will be another tough test today. We also have Roma coming up and played Sevilla and the K-League. Why do you think Tottenham have actually opted for a more of a test this preseason than in years gone by?
It's probably because Conte doesn't really feel like he has the patience, or really, I don't know, maybe he just doesn't see the need in like trying to, just run out, a bunch of kind of under 23s, in the team against Colchester or something like that, Dave, that Nuno kind of sort of done. I feel like it's not really worth his time. He'd probably just rather just be out on the training ground more if you're just going to go up against teams that aren't really any sort of real test. I know he kind of has said, it's all about just getting players minutes. It's all about just kind of getting them touches. But I feel like he wants to get them touches against actual quality opponents and actually like quality atmospheres. When you really look at all the games that we're probably going to play, Dave, I'm pretty sure most of them have been kind of somewhat sold out stadiums, for the most part, as well, which I think is kind of a good test too. You're still playing in front of a big crowd, which is necessary, not like kind of a crowd of 5,000, 6,000, 10,000, something like that, like an actual crowd of some sort. And as well, I kind of like the fact that we're coming up against teams that maybe apart from the K-League team, we're playing like a bit nasty, like as well. Sevilla, came into us a bit nasty. I think we all know Rangers are going to play a bit nasty. And then Roma, Jose's team, goes without saying, as well. So I kind of just like that none of these games are easy when it comes to the opponents, when it comes to the atmosphere, the setting. All of it's just kind of tough. And also it's kind of funny because every single time these games, you can tell that the players were practically, doing those marine runs, just the other day as well. They all look, kind of swollen and kind of, tired and, already sweaty going into it. I think they're just clearly not, and having a nice, relaxing preseason. It's clearly a very tough preseason. It's lovely to see.
100%. It definitely is a tough pre-season. And look, I'm loving it. I'm loving it. I love to see us getting feisty from minute one. Golden Cockerel, you've got to head to that Roma game if you can, my man. You've got to head to every game if you can. You've got to seize the opportunity to scream Antonio, my man. Big yourself up. As you can see, my niece has now left. She's wired up on sugar. Franco Martini says Levy isn't going to want to lose today. There is very negative history between Enoch and Rangers. Any of you guys know what it is? Do you want to explain it?
Yeah, Rangers was Enoch's first involvement in football. So I think they've sort of kept reined in the spending a little bit, as they would with a Daniel Levy sort of company. But I don't know about negative. Yeah, of course it's going to be negative if you're not getting the players rolling in like you're expecting. It will grow a bit stale very quickly. But it was an interesting one for me because you've obviously got a conflict of interest when you're owning more than one football club. So I wonder if they must have reduced their holding or something like that to when it becomes acceptable levels. I don't know the details on that, but I've heard before Rangers fans saying about Enoch's a bad egg and they don't want anything to do with them. So I wonder what more there is to do with it. I think it's just sort of the general lack of direction they're getting from them.
They're listening out for any chance that they may have today. Paddy Higgins says 280 plus watching, only 60 likes. The match isn't adding up again. I mean, Paddy Higgins, I'm going to leave you in charge of that today, my man. You could be in charge of getting the likes up. Big up, Paddy. Absolute legend. Nearly 300 now, so everyone smash that like button. And Adam William Kale, big yourself up. William Pretty as well. Good to have you in. And my man, there's people in the chat saying you can actually get it on CBS Sports. So there you are, brother. There you are. As you know, Spurs fans, we always love to help each other out. Philip, we'll get on to you as well. Are you happy with the tough preseason fixtures this preseason? Because look, it can be risky, getting these sort of physical battles going because it's very easy to pick up injuries. Are you happy to see us have this tougher preseason rather than what we've seen years gone by?
Yeah. I mean, previously Spurs would have come on. No, this is no disrespect to League of Ireland teams. Spurs would have come over and played in Dublin pre-season. I mean, let's face it, that's a kickabout. That's not a practice. That's not a testing pre-season match. Yeah. Okay. There is always a risk. I mean, last week the Seville boys weren't too happy. We weren't too choosy with some of their tackling. And it's going to be the same again today. But I think we've got to run the risk of pairing that against the experience and the what's the word I'm looking for, honing of your fitness against teams that are nearly on the same level as you. Rangers aren't on the same level as us, but their commitment and their passion to win in front of their fans today is going to make this a difficult game. And also, I'll tell you what's going to inflame this game even more. I'll just refer to something Aaron Dubb said there in the comments. When they bring Fraser Foster on, that's going to bring the house down because he played for Celtic. And that is really going to inflame that crowd. So if the game is a bit quiet, you can see Conte throwing on Foster to really get them going again, Yeah. So, and Doherty and Parrott are going to get the same treatment because anybody that's got Irish connections there is not going to go down well in that part of Glasgow, But no, I'm happy with the competition. I'm just hoping that next week that Jose doesn't tell his team to go and kick lumps out of us.
Yeah,
as a kind of thank you for getting rid of me before a cup final type of parting gift. So hopefully that's not the case because we don't want to see Harry Kane getting injured in the first preseason or the last game before the season starts. But no, better off playing good teams, tough teams, get homed up for the because Southampton are going to be easy team in the first game of the season.
100%.
Much to the annoyance of Philip and Dermot and others similar circumstances, Rangers are kind of I've got a soft spot for them just because of our history of players going up to them. Graham Roberts, Paul Gascoigne. So we had links with like Gordon Jury coming down to us. Let's think some of the others that have gone up there. Richard Goff as well.
What's the cup it's called? What's the cup it's called today?
The Walter Toll Cup. Yeah, he's the first professional black footballer in Britain.
He played for us. Yeah, played for both teams, didn't he?
Well, he never actually got to play for Rangers.
He signed for them, but then
The war came along or something, right? First World War.
One of the first, I think, ever also Black Army pilots, or Air Force pilots, or whatever it is for you guys.
Wow.
Royal Air Force pilots, I think, as well.
No, I think Walter Tull was the guy that he was killed in the First World War.
Yeah,
I think he was in the army.
Yeah,
I think he might have been commissioned officer or something. That
he was
maybe that's what it was.
He played for Northampton as well, Northampton Town.
Yeah, he only played about 10 games for us, but for Northampton Town, he was an absolute legend. Played about getting on for 200 games, something like that.
It's nice to see him being recognised. It's only taken 100 years.
True.
I remember on Facebook about 7 or 8 years ago, we did the channel I was working on there. We did a detailed discussion about him and saying there should be some sort of statue or something, because there's some landmarks you really need to have a reference to in the game. And for us, it should be the likes of Bill Nick, Jimmy Greaves. I think Walter Tull needs a statue as well. Perhaps Arthur Wright.
There is a house on, I think, Northumberland Avenue in Tottenham where he lived during his time. There's a plaque on the wall outside.
Very nice.
Yeah,
that's probably the most recognition he's got in Tottenham.
Just quickly, I was just going to say, and I don't want to get David going here. So David, calm yourself after I say this. But the reason I do kind of like, the teams that we've been playing recently is because they sort of have the teams we've been playing are at least quality enough players or opponents that they've been exposing mistakes in our own players. Like they exposed Højbjerg's, kind of mistake. Højbjerg kind of thought, he had all this time on the ball, he could kind of make a pass without making sure somebody was there. And he got exposed, by Sevilla, in a certain stages. Had we played in Orlando City, Minnesota, I'm not so sure, whether that would really be the case. If we played at Colchester, I don't really know that would be the case. I think Højbjerg, right, he doesn't, end up, making those mistakes because the opponents just aren't really good enough to probably expose him there. Same thing goes for Davinson Sanchez and Eric Dyer. If Eric Dyer and Davinson Sanchez were coming up against Minnesota or Colchester or some team out in, I don't know, lower leagues of Italy or whatever, we might play or something. I just feel like, they wouldn't get exposed, they wouldn't make mistakes. So that's maybe also the point of playing these good teams, Dave, is because the opponents are quality enough to, make you have to think, maybe even force errors, in your game. Yeah,
no, 100%. Look, I just hope we absolutely thrash Rangers today. I absolutely hate them. So it'd be nice to beat them, and I'm glad it's a tough test. It's going to be feisty, and look, hopefully it'll get us ready for this season. Dark Sun G says, to be honest, these preseason opponents will help our mentality and tactics massively. Unlike those games against Colchester, MK Dons, because these games we'll win even though we use 60% of our skills and mentality. Jack, you're nodding your head. You like this super chat from Dark Sun G?
It's kind of, I probably accidentally, just stole Dark Sun G's point without actually reading it here, more or less, kind of saying the exact same thing here, where it feels like, these sort of opponents, Dark Sun G, they're good for your fitness. They're good for actually your real quality because you're actually playing against sort of at the most, most cases, decently quality opponents that actually can test your game. You can actually experiment with tactics against decent enough defenses, decent enough managers that, know what they're doing. I just feel like, you actually can read more into these games, Dark Sun G, because of the quality of our opponents. If we were coming up against the teams that I feel like Arsenal have played this preseason, I don't really know what you can read into most of those games. I don't really think you can take away a lot from it. Whereas the teams that we've played in the settings that we've also played them in, I feel like you can maybe take a little, tidbit. You can take something from each game or two. And I feel like Dark Sun G feels the same way. It's actually testing our mentality. It's also allowing Conte to test tactics for real without feeling like it's a fake sort of test, if you know what I mean.
Phil, what's your thoughts on what Dark Sun G is?
No, I agree with him totally. Yeah, I mean the mentality of the players is very important. You're playing Minnesota Vikings, wherever you call them over there, and you win 14-0. That's no good.
Yeah,
it's not a test. But just one thing, just as an aside to this, I had a look this morning. And I recommend anyone to look at this as a build-up for today's match. Go onto YouTube and type in Spurs versus Rangers 1962. And there's a Pathé News, which used to show in the cinema before the film back in the day, before the internet came along, about a 4-minute highlights package of that particular game at White Hart Lane. There's 59,000 people at the game, right? We won 5-2. And one thing I didn't know about this, Jimmy Greaves had 3 assists, all from corners. Then we went up to Ibrox, and it's even worse, the grainy black and white film there, where Rangers were never beaten at home. We beat them 3-2, and there was 80,000 at the match. So 139,000 people saw those 2 matches. And, we're going to be another 60,000 there today. So watch what happened in 1962 and expect more of the same this afternoon, because they are very, very passionate fans. And I'm wondering how the Spurs fans gone up to that game. Is there going to be a Spurs end at that match?
I remember a pre-season friendly we had with them back in the early 80s. I think it was about 83, if I remember rightly. And we won it 1-0. And Ray Clements was our man of the match. They totally outplayed us. Even then, it was supposed to be a friendly, but the place was rocking at times. It was really enjoyable. But
one thing that's most noticeable about both those newsreel films? Nearly everybody's wearing a flat cap.
That's what we're talking about. See, we're with the times. We're with the times. So
you're ahead of yourself. You're ahead of yourself.
Right,
flat caps are back again. But you know what, though, Dark Sun G, I agree. Look, it's huge mentally going into the season, already having that fighting spirit, that camaraderie, fighting for each other from these preseason friendlies. And then, tactics, look, it'd be huge. We've seen Conte do other tactics.
Hello.
That's the mother. We've seen. There we go, cool. That's what I'm talking about. There we go, boys. Come on. I love it. But definitely, Dark Sunji, it's going to be a huge test today, my man. And look, we wonder will we see Lucas Moore at right wing back, see what happens. We shall wait and see, Dark Sunji. But figure yourself up, brother. Really appreciate supporting you. Sparked a really good conversation there. Franco Martini says, maybe you guys have forgotten that Rangers went bust due to mismanagement. Enoch saw the writing on the wall and got out. Are they and they're the villains? I mean, Kuva, you know a bit on this. What do you think? Take your Enoch hat off and try and do it fair.
No, I'm taking this off anyway. It's too bloody hot. I remember. I didn't follow it that closely because it was Rangers, not Spurs. But I do remember Enoch being there, and it was the heyday of David Murray, wasn't it? Was it David Murray? Murray, anyway. When he's going on the big spending sprees and trying to compete with Man United and the like, it was exciting times. But then when the course financial difficulties hit, I don't know what happened to Enoch, whether they just reduced their holding or just completely got out, or they probably weren't that much of a shareholder to start with. If Murray was going crazy with the spending, you'd assume Enoch certainly weren't pulling the strings at that point. So, are they villains, or is it just sensible to pull out at that time? I can understand resentment from fans, though, because they just see big investment come into the club and bail out just as the club's going down the plug hole. So I kind of get that, but whether you can blame Enoch or not, I don't know, mate. Didn't follow it that closely.
I'm just looking it up here now. Enoch had a 25.1 stake in Rangers. Now, whether they still have it or not, I do not know, but they did have. Let's see now.
Well, Franco Martini, you let us know what your thoughts are. Are Enoch the villains? Do let us know, my man. Do let us know. Philip, any more research?
So, maybe. There's no reference to them selling the stake in that article, so you wouldn't know.
Well, Franco Martini, give us your verdict. You heard Kuva's verdict. I'll be honest, I don't really know too much about that situation, so I can't really comment. But let us know your verdict. You seem well versed in it, brother. Thank you for that. But look, you learn something new every day. That's what they say. Adrian G says, big up, lads. Pundits having us closest to top 3. Yeah, look, that's what I like. And look, I would love them to be sitting there saying we're going to win the league. But at the end of the day, it'd be a nice surprise feeling if we can put something together, and none of them predicted it. Because I'd rub it into them all day long. I'd be tweeting them every single day I can. So that would be nice. And Adrian Chia, look, set your sights higher than top 3. Top 3, look, it's a good because you get Champions League and it's progress. But at the end of the day, we want trophies. So set your sights higher, brother. Big yourself up. And Leighton Evelyn says, easy on the Dyer and Sanchez hit today, lads.
I tried to get him, Leighton. He didn't bite. I tried to get him hooked on it. I threw out a bit of a line, to get David, to bite on it, to get him flailing. But, he behaved. He behaved, Leighton. So don't you worry, my man.
Yeah, but people are trying to set me off today already, and it's only it's only 12 o'clock. Look, let me be clear. It's not hate. I don't hate them as people. I hate them as footballers. There's a difference. I don't like their ability. And I'm just going to be a realist. If they're shit, I'm going to sit here and say they're shit. I'm not going to sit here and scrub them up in bubble bath and tell you that they're absolutely unbelievable. It's not going to happen. If they're crap, I'm going to say they're crap. Look, if Sanchez can't pass a ball 2 yards, that's not my problem. Don't come and hate on me. Hate on them. They're the ones out there. They're the ones getting paid to do it, not me. Not me. So, look, Leighton, what I'll say is if they have a good game, I'll praise them. If they have a shit game, well, they'll know about it, and so will everybody else. So, big up, Leighton.
Oh, come on, it's the modern day Beckenbauer and Maldini. How can you, Dave?
I wish.
We might win something there.
There's an article in today's Irish Independent, what every Premiership League club has to do to have a successful season. And under Spurs was get rid of the deadwood. And who was the first name mentioned in the deadwood? It begins with H and ends with W.
Herrick Wire.
No, they actually mentioned 3 players: Harry Winks, Giovanni Lo Celso, and Ndombele. They're the 3 they have to get rid of. Other than that,
everybody knows that, really, don't they?
I hope they go.
What they said about Arsenal, I didn't even read it.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. Everyone's getting me going. Look, I was having a good day. I was smiling until I seen the word Sanchez and Dyer. Now it's turning me angry, so we better move on.
Focus.
Jack, West Ham were smacked by Rangers at the Ibrox 3-1. The stadium was packed. It will be our first game as the away side, like you alluded to. Is this going to be our toughest preseason test so far?
I actually, and I wrote this question, because I think it is going to be our toughest preseason game. I know it's not maybe the best opponent, you could say, of the 3. You could argue Roma and Sevilla are better teams than, Rangers are, but I feel like this is sort of the toughest kind of combined test because we are actually the away side entirely. We're going up against a team like I think Philip mentioned or Kuva mentioned that they're going to be playing next week, I think you guys said, and this is their last preseason game. So they're going to try to end it off with, I think, a bang, or at least end it off with kind of showing that, they're ready to get the season started and they're ready, to kind of, get the gears going. So you kind of feel like they're going to kind of come into this game as if, it is close to, their first game of the season. So I think that's going to be kind of interesting for us. It is going to be a packed house, but a packed house full of Rangers fans, not full of Spurs fans, kind of cheering us on, as it was in, Korea, which was lovely and a lovely atmosphere for our players. I think it's going to be the opposite of a lovely atmosphere for our players. Probably going to be a very kind of tight pitch, I assume. I assume Rangers is kind of a bit of a narrow kind of sort of ground as well, not very spread out, which I think sometimes makes things a bit more uncomfortable. And, they just came off of, kind of being Europa League, kind of, what is it, second place finishers or Europa League finalists. And I don't know, they're kind of carrying a bit of momentum going into next season. I just feel like this is a tough test because they're a decent side. They have a decent manager. They have their last preseason game here. I feel like they're going to try to win this one. I feel like they are going to really try to win this one.
And don't forget, their manager is an ex-Arsenal player, which is going to add spice to it.
Oh, yeah, Van Bronckhorst. Yeah, Giovanni. Yeah, it spices it up even more for me, Philip. So it does. Absolutely. Neil Shafter says, David, in some light, looks like his eyes are pure white. Sometimes freaky. Start doing a Stevie Wonder. Yeah, look, you can actually see my eyes in a bit of light, my man.
Especially when he does especially when he does the smell, what the cough is brewing, his eyes just flare up in that one.
Honestly, you want to see if I hate somebody, you want to see them on the football pitch. They're fucking wide. They're wide, my man. Big up Aussie Spur TV. Big yourself up, brother. Big up Simon Davies with us as well. And big up Spurs related. Big up everyone. Keep smashing that like button. 371 in house. Yeah, Paddy Higgins, let me know how we're getting on with them likes, my man. Philip, do you think Conte would want to see an improved performance from the Sevilla game? Because, look, let's face it, it was pretty crap. Or do you think he'd still be in the mindset like most fans are that it's pre-season?
You certainly won't accept the level of performance that some players put out against Seville. And I hate to criticize the guy, but I thought Højbjerg had a very, very poor game, especially in the first half.
He nearly gave away 2 goals.
The usual suspects didn't really perform, really. The ones we were usually on about all the time. But again, I'm going to give them a bit of a pass on this because they were after coming off a very, very hard week's training. With the 42 laps of the pitch and all this length of the pitch and stuff like that. Playing in that humidity as well, which won't be in Glasgow tonight. All the heat will come from the crowd tonight, not from the weather. So it's going to be the humidity is going to be. So it's going to be a lot easier to play today in conditions that the players are used to. So I would say he'll want a better performance all around, because that's what you get. Each game you play, the level should go up.
Yeah,
and I would say that will happen. Now today is going to be interesting. I'm going to be very interested to see how the midfield is panned out. What way he's going to permutate that midfield. Okay, we know what the attack's going to be. It's going to be 3 out of 4. Richarlison, Kulichevsky, Sonny and Kane. The midfield is going to be very, very interesting to see how that works out. And I'm just hoping that all the new boys get a run out today, including Perisic, because I want to see what that guy can do. Because I think he could be a secret weapon for us this season with a lot of things.
Yeah,
I'm hoping to see him at it, I mean, the Arsenal are dissing him. He's 33 years of age. He's gone, this, that, and the other, I put that down to jealousy because they didn't get him.
Look, it doesn't matter what age you are. World class will always shine through, and that's what's going to happen with Perisic. But I love what you said about the heat coming from the crowd and not the weather today. That's awesome. You've got to give us a weather report going into every game, Philip. So that's awesome. That is awesome. But we'll start touching on sort of like the defence, the midfield, and the strikers now. But I just want to ask Kuva this. Kuva, despite the Roma game coming up, could this be truly the last chance for players to impress Conte and earn a spot or a role that they might not have had in the 2022-23 season plans? And the reason why I ask that, it's not more so the likes of Kane and Son, but it's the players on the periphery. Because, look, against Roma, I expect Conte to more or less put out what he'll be starting in the Premier League and probably give them about 70 minutes. So is today the last chance for the likes of Brian Hill, Papa Matasar to kind of impress?
No, it's not the last chance, certainly not. But what it is, certainly for the fans, it will look that sort of thing. There's only a couple of games we're going to be watching. But it's all done in training, isn't it? That's where you catch the manager's eye to start with. Start impressing him there. And then if you have impressed him there and you do get put into a game like this, you back up what you've shown in training with being able to do it in competition. That's when you start getting somewhere. So it's an opportunity for fringe players, definitely. There may be a few there that have, not impressed last season. I'm looking at the likes of perhaps Sessegnon, someone like that, where he's been very stop-start career, mostly due to injuries, doubts over whether he's going to do the job fully and things like that. Then you get the reports of the manager likes him, likes the attitude, and he can do this and he can do that. Perhaps this is one of those sort of games where, just give a really impressive performance, and then it gets the fans on board as well as reinforces what he's showing the manager in training. Because as it stands, it doesn't look like we're making any further signings at the left wing back for certain. A few rumours on right wing back, and if you look at the likes of Lucas Moura being told, let's see what you like at right wing back position, that casts huge doubts over Emerson and Doherty for me. Otherwise, we wouldn't sign Jed Spence at all. He's surely going to get game time, Jed Spence. So I think the likes of Emerson, Doherty, they've got things to prove at the moment.
No, look, rightly so. Rightly so. At the end of the day, I'm fed up with the averageness and the mediocrity and the lack of care that I've seen over the last 2-3 years. So it's rightly so that these guys now put under pressure. Look,
the likes of Harvey White as well. He did really well when he came in. Really caught the eye. Looked totally on the ball. It looked like he was reading the game well, timing the tackles well. Did everything perfectly well. So there are players like Matasar as well. Although he didn't do anything that particularly caught the eye against Sevilla, he didn't look out of place, and that's
but maybe
important
he's
as well.
The one that's doing well in training and then not really showing it as much in the competition. Like, because you said that, Kuva, it's like the competition part is what Spurs fans get to see, but it's also on the condition of that. Are they doing well in training as well? Are they impressing something in training?
It's the old adage,
I think
isn't
that's
it?
a good point. They go hand in hand, those two.
Yeah.
So someone like Papa Matasar, probably impressing Conte in training, but needs to maybe do something in a game like this, I think, to probably
trouble is for him, he's up against a lot of competition now in those midfield spots. And to be able to do something truly outstanding there is going to take quite something. I mean, Basuma could come in, play well, and not really catch the eye. It's the nature of that role, unfortunately. you're always going to get the likes of Sonny, Kane, Kulusevski grabbing the headlines.
True.
100%, 100%. And look, it's up to these guys, when they do get the minutes, because at the end of the day, they're not going to get too many opportunities to shine, to take them and show what they're made of. Holly, today I will back Doherty endlessly today, especially today in the Ibrox. I know they're going to hate Doherty today, so he will get unwavering support, even though he's crap. And then after the game, I'll get back to being realistic. Big up, Holly. Really appreciate it.
Once he's out of Glasgow.
I can't turn on him. Not when we're in the not when we're in the Devil's Cauldron, so I can't. I got to back him, but after then I'll slap him about and say, wake up. Rob Wallace says, I know it's still 6 weeks till deadline day, but I feel we are still 2 centre-backs and still a proper right wing-back short. We don't need an attacking mid, but maybe in January. And look, we'll talk a little bit about transfer window, and then we are going to talk on defence and midfield and stuff. Look, for me, I'm going to keep reiterating this. I get people want to Cam in here, but for me, if we can't have a Cam and a centre-back, I'd much rather that centre-back. And I'll keep saying this. Scoring goals has never been a problem at Tottenham Hotspur. Yes, we can make a thing out of not being able to beat low-block teams, but that comes from further down back in the pitch. Dyer taking 8 touches, just allowing them to set up in shape, not having the progressive enough passing in midfield, not having great wing-backs to beat their man and make something happen. It's not all on having that Cam. But whereas in them games where our defence should be holding out, let's face it, they should be, they're not. And we're losing these games. And that shouldn't happen. So for me, I think we need a centre-back in here that's actually going to go and win the ball. That's actually going to put his bollocks on the line. Like you look against Burnley, Romero, rooted to the ground, Bren Mee, free header. Should not happen. You look at Brighton, Eric Dyer turns his back on Trossard. I mean, Jesus Christ, what are you doing? Go full frontal. You should be taking that. I see guys doing it on the Astro. See guys doing it on a Sunday morning hungover. You should be doing it. You're being paid to do it. So for me, I think centre-back is my biggest one. Look, I do want to reiterate, even if we don't get any more in, we've had a fantastic window. It would be a shame that we haven't gone that last 20%, but we still had a fantastic window. But for me, centre-back is a must before an attacking midfielder. And we'll go around the panel on this, Rob. Big yourself up. He's been so kind to dish out memberships to people. They've done it twice last week, so big yourself up. And Jack, we'll start with you and work our way around. What do you think? What would you say to Rob here?
Completely agree with Rob. If I could have all of that, I absolutely would take it that way. 2 more center backs, an actually proper right wing back, and then maybe look at an attacking midfielder, maybe for a January sort of signing. I kind of like the order of that. But to make it hard on myself, which I love to do, especially on, the second channel, if I could only really pick one, like, you said earlier, Dave, I would also take only a center back. I would have to take a center back. It makes me uncomfortable to think that basically Dyer's backup is Sanchez and Romero's backup is Sanchez. And if we keep Tanganga around, then I guess Tanganga is the other sort of backup as well. It just makes you really uncomfortable. And I guess Longlay's in there, but maybe he might, overtake Davies actually for left-sided center back. And then you really are probably worried with what your options are. So I feel like we are desperate for a center back more than anything else. And if you were put in the position to only choose one, if you had to only choose one for your last signing of the summer, you just have to pick center back. You have to pick center back. There's no way that you could feel comfortable knowing that Dyer and Sanchez are basically the next best center backs available, in the team. I think that just makes everybody have a heart attack.
100%. 100%. Great minds think alike, Jacko. Great minds think alike.
No, I mean, Dave, it makes me nervous, like even the way you put it in that sort of terms. Like if you had to go into the season and you could only sign one more, as much as you want James Maddison, you're like, just give me Ndika, just give me like whatever else is available, like whatever next best center back is out there, just give me that one, because that's what we need. I agree.
Absolutely love it. And Rob also says, hit the likes to 200. Let's roll the dice and let the RNG pick 5 more memberships. Big up, Rob. You're an absolute hero, my man. Absolute hero. Philip, what's your thoughts here on what Rob has to say about the window? I mean, what position do you think is urgency?
We need one more centre back. I wouldn't say we need 2 more. Because if you look at it this way, if Tanganga stays, we've got Tanganga, Davis, Dyer, Sanchez, Romero. That's 5 centre backs. Okay, taking that Tanganga probably will go to AC Milan on loan or whatever. That's down to 4. So bring in 1 more. And I'm still keep hearing these rumours. Bastoni is still bubbling under. He may still happen. So we can only hope that is the case. As regards a midfielder. Like I'd take Madison all day long, but I hear an awful lot of word about that young Italian fellow. What do you call him? Baziola. I can't remember his name there.
Zaniolo.
Zaniolo, yeah. He's another option. But now he's had 2 cruciate ligament injuries in the last couple of years, so he might be a risk injury-wise, you know.
I don't know whether you know this, but people are saying to me that when you do your ACLs, apparently your leg actually comes back stronger.
Well, maybe it does. It just gives you the initial reaction. You heard someone's had 2 ACLs, you think he's crocked, you know. But maybe not. You could be right. I'm no medical man, so maybe. But yeah, definitely a centre back. That's a priority. And what I think might happen here is we might go back into typical Levy country here. We might not get him till the season starts. But in the last couple of windows of the weeks of the transfer window, the teams are desperate for money that have held out up to now will probably be more open to a deal. And Levy loves a deal. So it's possible we'll get one, but it won't be Conte's time frame. It'll be slightly later on in the window. And hopefully we'll get Madison as well. But centre back priority.
I agree. Kuva, do you agree with us or do you disagree? I mean, what's priority for you left to do in this window, my man?
Still wing backs for me. Essential part of Conte's system, and for me, it's only Perisic and then hopefully Jed Spence that can do the job at the moment. Severe doubts over Sessegnon's ability to stay fit, let alone how well he can do the job. Doherty, not good enough. Emerson, woefully short of even being good enough. Sooner out the door, the better. So for me, I think we need a left wing back and a right wing back. High quality as well. West Ham being linked with Kostic. If we let him go there and we haven't even put a bid in, that for me is criminal. Then if we're really going for it, if we're absolutely going for it, PSG just signed another right wing back. That's a possibility. They might have to sell Hakimi. They've got to adhere to financial fair play at some point.
Oh yeah, they're signing Lodi Mukiele, aren't they? They're signing that Mukiele.
I mean, it's a wild shout, but it is out there, and we have had these links with Hakimi before. We talk about it in the groups a lot. Of course, it's probably fantasy football at the end of the day, but you never know. Put in a bid, see what happens. For me, if we can only sign one player, you go for the one that's the greatest talent in that position available at the time. If it's Hakimi available, you get him. If it was De Ligt before he went to Bayern Munich, you get him. But for me, I don't see any reason why we can't go for the likes of Kostic, De Vrij, and then another ring back on the right, or even one on the left and switch Perisic over.
Apparently Kostic and Ndika, I think, share the same agent as well. So the reason they've been sort of linked as like a tandem, I agree with you. That would be a bit of a miss for sure.
Absolutely. And then I applied the same logic with doing a double swoop on the Frankfurt for those two. You could go to Leicester and grab Maddison and James Justin as well. That'll cover your wing back solution. You have that sort of X factor with the creativity up front somewhere, because Maddison can play sort of in a wide role as well as the number 10. Because I mean, we're unlikely to be playing the number 10 with Conte, but it doesn't mean you can't fit a player like that into the team. If he's 100%. There to create and score goals, which he does, even when Leicester was struggling, he still had 20 goal contributions. And he could take a great free kick, which we're lacking as well. So there's players out there. I don't think any of those ones just mentioned are out of the realms of possibility, except for maybe Hakimi would be the most unlikely of the lot, obviously. But
I think something like Hakimi.
If there's a chance, you take it.
Yeah. Look, if it opens up, you got to go in. I think someone like Hakimi, I'm hoping we'll be ready to put that sort of bid in for players next summer, purely because we'll have a lot of our squad put together. But Rob agrees with you. Big up, Rob, my man. Really appreciate the support. Now, I'm after making a boo-boo. There's a bit of a stain on my jersey, and I need to go and wipe it off because it's bugging me. So I will be back in 1 second. It really is annoying me. Leighton Evelyn, big yourself up, my man. I hope you're keeping well. New YouTube member. Leighton, get on one of the fan shows on a Monday or a Friday, my man. Let's have a contest. Let's have it out over Sanchez, Leighton. Get yourself on, brother, and big yourself up. Yeah, I really do like to protect these jerseys because this is so old school. So I do have to go and wipe it off before it ruins it. But just quickly, I'll start you off while I go and do that. It really is annoying me. With Davies being out injured until the start of the season, And of course, I'm hoping not to see Sanchez over at left-sided centre-back because, I mean, apparently it's not his favourite position, even though it's still in defence. So, Jack, what does Langley have to do in the next 2 games to displace Davies from the starting 11? Because that's what he's here to do, ultimately.
He is here to displace Davies. I don't really know about you guys, Philip or Kuva, but I feel like these 2 games, he's not going to have enough time to be able to do it. I think he just started training even as well, actually, with the team. He's done, I think, fitness training this whole time, if I'm not mistaken, while the squad's been in Korea, but he hasn't actually done any real tactical on the field sort of kind of training, with kicking the ball about with Conte in the team. So I feel like it might take until after the Chelsea game, for maybe Longley to displace Ben Davies. I don't know what you guys think. I feel like no matter how well maybe Longley plays, even if he, scored an Eric Dyer, screamer like against the K-League team, I still feel like if Ben Davies is fit and available for the upcoming, I feel like, Longley is, not going to displace him. I did hear, though, doesn't Ben Davies, is he carrying a suspension into next season, though, or something? Someone might have said that. No?
Not that I'm aware of. It's possible.
But I don't know. Do you guys agree there? Not enough time maybe for
Longley. I think Langley, if Langley comes in and plays well over the next 2 matches, and Ben Davies is fighting to get back into fitness, I think Langley will have that position until such time as he hasn't got it. I think Davies is going to have to play himself back into the side, or Langley is going to have to play himself out of it by making mistakes.
Mm.
He has a reputation.
We wouldn't be loaning him not to play him, would we? So
No. Langley, I think, to be honest with you, I think Langley is the replacement for Davies long term, if he does well this season, and I expect him to hold his position. Like, I seem to read nothing but negativity about this guy, but he made a mistake 2 years ago, and he's still getting hammered for it. I mean, come on, like, when all our players have made a mistake in the last 5 minutes, and we forget about it, So no,
you should join like Maguire. He and Maguire should start like a bit of a sympathy club.
Well, now there are exceptions. Harry Maguire seems to be a walking mistake, but when you go to Australia to play a friendly and get booed off the pitch, then you should really start looking at yourself. No, it's another thing too. Again, I'm just after reading it there. Sky are at it again. I know this is off topic, but I got to get this off my chest. You've got to get the stain off your jumper. I've got to get this off my chest. Sky are now talking about Harry Kane as a potential replacement for Robert Lewandowski, who hasn't even kicked a frigging ball for them yet. Now, how pathetic is that?
Look, it's not going to happen. It's wishful thinking. Surely Oliver Kahn, who's I think he's like very high up there. He only came out the other day and said it's definitely not going to happen this summer for sure. Anyway, they just don't have the funds to do it. So, look, it's
2-3 years down the road. But again,
unless they find 200 million up in them Bavarian mountains, or in their Lederhosen, unless they find 200 million in their Lederhosen, then I guess
Let's unsettle Spurs again. Let's unsettle them as much as we can. It's never ending. Yeah. And another one too. While I've got the ranting mode at the moment, that ex-footballer in brackets called Darren Bent. Have you seen what he's been saying about us?
Idiot.
The most sensible thing Harry Redknapp ever said when he was at Spurs was his wife was a better footballer than Darren Bent.
Yeah, she could have put that
on. Criticizing our transfers. He's criticizing our training methods. God help us. Are they really scraping the barrel now? That's all I can say. They're scraping the barrel.
But you know what I'll do, Philip? I'll start criticizing his new haircut. It's absolutely ridiculous. He doesn't want to hear me say that, so then keep his mouth closed about Spurs. Absolute donkey. I mean, he was crap. We've overpaid for him, and Harry Redknapp, absolutely made a show of him. And then he was crying after that. How can you say that about me in public? And then he's sitting there on Talk Sport talking about Tottenham. What an absolute knobhead. But look, when it comes to Harry Kane, I mean, look, they're scared, Philip. He's fit. He's firing. He looks lean, mean, goal-scorer machine. They know he's coming back for his golden boot this season. So it's the added old trick. Let's try and unsettle Tottenham where we can. Well, it's not going to work this year if I have anything to do with it. Even if I have to go and chain myself to the Sky Sports gates not to let anyone into the offices, I will do that.
I'll do a foul head on it. I'll come with you with the handcuffs, right? Rant over.
We'll have to keep you away from Sky Sports. I'm afraid of what you'll do. So I am. But Philip, or Kuva, Clement Langley, I mean, Do you think he can displace Davies? And what does he have to do over these next 2 games to get trust the Conte?
Well, very, very quickly, I was just going to reply to Bob Spur's comment there.
He's off to work. And by the way, Bob, you're going to be missed on the.
What makes that comment even worse from him is he works as a lollipop lady. Well,
and that's where he goes to have his dyers as well.
No, it's lollipop person now, Kuva. It's lollipop person.
No, not in his case. Longley, I think we should be looking at him displacing Davies, because if we're buying him just as a backup, loaning him just as a backup, that's not improving the team, is it? That's just that's just padding out with extras, and that's what we've been doing year after year. It's one of the big arguments about the way we've done business over the last 20 years. There's been far too much of this, buying in quantity instead of quality. You'd have to believe that Longley is there for 2 reasons. One, for his own personal gain, to gain his form that he had back from a few years ago. He was sensational when he first went to Barcelona. Yeah. Absolutely great player. He will want to recapture that form, get his way back into the French national team. We will want a quality left-sided central defender. It's a perfect opportunity for both club and player. In the meantime, that will spur Ben Davies on to pushing even harder to keep himself established there. It's a good situation to be in. And if Ben Davies starts on the bench this season, he's going to be trying like hell in training to get his way back into the first team. Because regardless of what we think of him as his talent level, he is a trier. He doesn't let you down. He will always give you whatever he's got. The way he improved last season, I think as a backup, I haven't got a fear about him coming into the team and taking up that role again. But let's look ahead. We want to improve the starting 11. I think Longley could well be the answer there. And it may well be that player that plays so well that we think we better get this bloke in on a permanent deal. So let's hope so. I think it's a big positive to hit him in the squad.
I think so too. And look, I agree with what you say about Ben Davies. Look, at the end of the day, he's kind of, with his performances last season, he's alleviated my fears of him and maybe him coming in. But I do think Longley is better on the ball. I do think it will definitely benefit us more. And I actually think it'll benefit the likes of Son more down that side, because he can make them runs in behind. And Longley will be able to find him. He's got a very good passing range. Look, I know some people have the doubts about the guy defensively. But look, if Conte can get Dyer and Davies to turn up for the first time in 8 years, well, then he can get Longley to turn up for the first time in 2 years, in my opinion. Not a problem.
Well, we did a sort of statistical analysis on Longley with Sean and Will Stewart at times came in on it as well. And we're just some of the players we're comparing him with, the likes of who did we have? Guardiola and Bastoni and all the players you're looking for in that position. And his stats held up really well against them all. It was surprisingly good. There was no real weak area.
I think he is an exceptional passer and is an exceptional player on the ball, but I think there is obviously the huge asterisk that he plays in La Liga and plays for Barcelona in La Liga, which is the team that has the most possession, of any team in that league. So I think that's where, I sort of see it. But I don't know, with Longley, I don't know. I agree with you, Kuva. He actually might be one of the best passers of the ones we were looking at. He kind of stands probably toe-to-toe with Guardiola and Bastoni when it comes to passing, but I feel like La Liga and Barcelona is a huge asterisk when it comes to stats. And, you know me, I love the stats.
Yeah. Well, look, we're going to move on into... we'll talk a little bit about the wing-backs, actually. We won't spend too long on them because I really do want to get into that midfield and maybe talk a little bit about Basuma. But the wing-backs, and we'll go to you on this, Kuva, because you actually mentioned them. You're not happy. Do you think Perisic and Spence have enough quality? Because like you said, Conte does rely on these wing-back positions to kind of, more so against these teams. And look, I know it's not exactly low block, but that's the general term to describe these teams. Like, they do more or less press the middle and keep it tight, but low block is the term to describe these teams. Do you think we have enough quality in them positions to maybe rectify some of the problems we had there last season, Philip, with the upgrade of Perisic and Spence coming in?
Oh, sorry, you asking me or Philip? You changed. All right, fair enough. I think Perisic, without doubt, is sheer quality. He's gonna definitely help with breaking teams down. He oozes class wherever you play him. The fact he can so easily join in with the attack from anywhere on the pitch, brilliant quality to have. Jed Spence, the only doubts over him that I have is he's not got the experience. He's not. He's very raw. He's got the exciting ability to beat a man. He's got the pace to get to the byline. This is one thing we have been lacking for a while. I always feel is that those fullbacks that get to the byline and cut the ball back, because it gets
a bit like what Walker used
the wrong way out of their comfort zone, doesn't it? And it's so easy. I used to love that if I played in midfield, hanging around on the edge of the box, wait for somebody to cut it back from the touchline. Because more often than not, you could get a free shot in because the defender cannot look at that wing back and at you at the same time. So it certainly adds to it all. And of course, pulling people out of position. If you let Emerson go down the right, teams were doing this. They just let him stay out there. Don't go and bother challenging him. Just let him cross it because there's no fear. Now, if you got the likes of Perisic doing it, or you got Jed Spence finds his feet and starts doing it early, getting to that touchline and creating danger each time, they've got to push people out there to meet him. In turn, that creates space in the middle there that you didn't have before. So it's a vital part of it. It's pulling the defensive shape around of the opponents a lot. You've got to have all working parts there. You can't just rely on one area of the pitch. Can't all go through Harry Kane. You've got to have the three prongs of the attack. It's just as important on the wings as it is through the middle. In Conte's system, you'd argue it's more important coming from the wings because that is how he likes to play the game. It's over. Get those attacking positions sorted and get the crosses in.
100%. I think with Perisic, look, no problem down that side. I think absolutely yes. I think he will find the players in the box. Spence, look, brilliant. I think there's a lot of raw talent there, but he does have to work. A bit going forward, and it remains to be seen what he can do. But if I was Spence, I'd be looking at what Kyle Walker done for Tottenham. The guy used to always get down to the byline and look to pull it back every single time. So for me, if I was Spence, that's what I'd be looking to do and look to find them players arriving late on the edge of the box, like Kuva was saying. Philip, anything you want to say on the wing backs, my man, before we move into the midfield?
With the potential recruitment of Lucas Moura as an additional wing back, I think we're well enough covered there. Okay, one of Doherty or Royale will probably leave during the window, right? Which will leave us Perisic, Sessegnon, Spence, Doherty, and Moura.
Yeah.
I think we need a centre back more than we need a wing back, to be honest with you. That's just my own opinion, If we keep the five of them, we're definitely well served. I think one of them will go.
Yeah. And don't forget Lucas Moura, like Aussie Spurs saying here as well. Lucas Moura, the new wing back.
Yeah, I think Conte has plans for him there.
Yeah, it'd be interesting to see what he could do. Big up, Paul, my man. Good to see you in the building. Good to see you. We'll take these couple of super chats and then we'll keep moving on. THFC till I die. Don't get me started on Sanchez. He better perform. I'll be honest, I don't want to see him today. Romero, Dyer, Lengley. That's all I want. Let's see what they can do as a back three. Somewhere along the line, they're going to have to play together and form a unit. So why not start it today? I do not want to see this.
I feel like we're playing Sanchez, though, Dave, maybe just to flush out all of his mistakes at once, just to get, as many mistakes out as he can, until the actual season starts.
You're never going to flush them out. They're always going to be there with this guy. They've been there since he's arrived, and they're still there to this day. He's been here,
like
3-4 years?
We're just trying to rinse it out, Dave.
Okay, so maybe play him. Conte videos it and goes up to Mr. Levy's office and just pushes that across the desk.
What we've seen in Korea should have been fucking enough. It should have been enough what we've seen in Korea, to be honest. But big up, Dermot. I really don't want to see him, though. Rex Ardar, big up. New YouTube member, brother. Hopefully we get to see you on the fan shows every Monday and Friday, my man. And everyone, feel free to grab a membership. Cheaper than Sky Sports, cheaper than Netflix. And I think I provide you more entertainment than most of them as well. So feel free to grab a membership. It's cheaper. It's once a month. It's nice and cheap, $4.99. And come on and speak to us on all the fan shows this season. We've got Donovan Oosterreicher. Big up, my man. Any comments in the chat here? Let me see, brother. What's up, lads? We going to win today or what time? Yeah, my man. Of course we're going to win, lad. It's Tottenham time, my man. That's what it is. Tottenham time. Of course we're going to win. Look, it's going to be tricky because Rangers are kind of like a few weeks ahead of us in their preparations. Their season do start next week. They're only off the back of thrashing West Ham 3-1, which I applaud them for. But, look, I think with our new signings coming in today, if they're as good as I think, I don't think it'll take them too long to gel it out, right? I can see us beating Rangers today. Look, I'm going to no, you're going to wait for the score predictions. That's what you're going to do, Donovan. I'm going to make you wait, my man. We'll get the score predictions at the end. But big up, Donovan, and I hope you're keeping well, brother. I really do.
Good to see you, my man. Nice and early for you as well, Donovan. He's up nice and early. Good to see you, brother.
Good to see you, my man. Good to see you. I'm just going to keep an eye on the stream here and just make sure there's nothing in the background that I've missed any of them membership chats come in.
I have an eye on it, Dave. Don't worry. I got an eye on it.
Okay. Perfect. So, look, we're going to move on from the wing-backs because I really do want to get into this centre midfield. And, look, we'll start with you, Jack. Spurs have lacked the ball carrier in the midfield since Moussa Dembele left in January of 2019. Is Bissouma now the answer to that problem, Jack?
I think he offers so much, Bissouma. I feel like we often kind of forget, how good Bissouma really is. Like, I think even just the other day, it was either on my channel or it was, some other channel. Pretty much everybody more or less confirmed that this guy is by far a top 4 midfielder. Like, he gets into most top 4, teams without a doubt, in fact, and probably, or at least challenges, that first team, at least, kind of makes, whatever position he's, going for and make that person kind of sweat, a little. That's what I think, Bissouma is bringing. I don't think he's like Højbjerg or Bentancur, Dave, where, Bentancur is actually showing to look better and better every week. So maybe, I'll hold off on that. But with Skip and kind of Højbjerg, Dave, we know that, in their true essence, they're just ball winners. They're kind of really hard-nosed kind of players that, have a decent pass on them. Don't get me wrong. They can surprise you with a good pass and maybe a nice ball carry every time or every now and again. But they're really just true essence kind of ball winners and kind of deep line kind of ball winners. Whereas Bissouma is just sort of everything. Like, he can win the ball. He can carry the ball. He can shoot it from distance. I don't think people have realized that. I know he doesn't score many goals. I think that's just because of the position he played, for Brighton. But he does have a good long shot on him, I think, as well. I feel like he does pick out really kind of genius passes. He kind of plays a nice pass on the floor, maybe to somebody into the striker's feet. He can play like a dink pass over the top. I've seen him do. I've seen him just switch play, kind of like with kind of just complete ease. I think even when he played against us, Dave, it wasn't as much him like winning the ball. It was him like just dictating play, just kind of swinging the ball from left to right, just kind of running the show. So for me, Bissouma, he's not only just going to be a Moussa Dembele with kind of the ball carrying, Dave, but I think he's going to be more of kind of a tempo setter and more of, I dare say, a version of a creative midfielder. I think he could be a version of a creative midfielder. Bissouma is that good, if you ask me. I think he sort of can kind of do it all.
Interesting.
I've even said this before, Dave, like Bruno Guimaraes. I wanted us to get Bruno Guimaraes because he's probably one of the best passers, I think, in world football, in the way that he kind of dictates games. Bissouma gives me Guimaraes vibes a lot of times. He gives me Guimaraes vibes, like a midfielder that can sort of do everything, like can kind of do everything.
Yeah, interesting. Everybody get in the comments, let what Jack said. Can Bissouma be that sort of creative midfielder? And then that means we can sort of
a version of it, Like, he doesn't need to be like standing in front of Harry Kane, asking for the ball to feet, but he can be playing the balls, in behind. He can be threading through passes. He can be dinking stuff over the top. He doesn't need to be like James Maddison, but he can play passes, I think, like James Maddison can. That's how much I rate him.
Absolutely. Love that, Jack. Love that. Now, Philip, Højbjerg and Bentancur were the most used midfield pairing in 2022, and they built a strong partnership together, making an impact in the team. And in the 2 games already, Conte has tried different midfield partnerships, minus Bissouma, of course, and is likely to try more over the next 2 games. Who do you think will be Conte's preferred midfield partnership, and why?
Well, I'll reiterate what Jack said there about Bissouma. I remember sitting in the stand at the Brighton game, watching Bissouma literally boss that game, dictate the pace of the game. And I said, Christ, why don't we go and buy that boy? Because he was a difference between the 2 teams that day. So I think he is hopefully our new Moussa Dembele. time will tell. So I think he is going to be first name on the team sheet, or one of the first names on the team sheet. Who he can partner with, I think today is possibly going to be Bentancur. The two Bs. I don't know. And whoops, I'm speaking with them. But I think that's going to be.
Still on it. Sorry. I didn't get that. Could you try again?
Talking to me.
It's going to say, what is that? I thought that was my computer. It's like, what the fuck? Quick, close off my porn sites.
I'll throw it away.
Anyway. That is going to kill me.
Basuma and Bentancur to start. That'll be that. Now, injuries and other factors may mean that's going to change. But we've got such fluidity and such interchangeability now in the midfield. Best we've had in a long, long time, you know. And so that they'd be my two. And that's no disrespect to Højbjerg and Skip. But I think the two boys are going to be the main men this season. You know, we shall see.
Yeah, interesting. I know Jack is disagreeing with Højbjerg. He wants him in there. But no, look, it'd be very interesting.
I think Bentancur, Dave, has looked like so saucy like every week. Like he's just looking unbeatable at this stage. I right now I would put Bentancur ahead of Højbjerg, and I love Højbjerg, but Bentancur hasn't even put a foot wrong in like the last 6 games that he's basically played. No, not 6 games, but more like 4 games. He's just looked insane. You know, as preseason, he's probably looked as good as like sort of Harry Kane has. I know Harry Kane and him playing different positions, but like Bentancur has just been saucing, Dave. He's just been saucing all over the park. He's made it look easy.
Look, I actually think Bentancur probably has to play because he's probably our best on the ball in a deeper position. We all know the problems we had transitioning from defence into midfield, into the forward line with Winks and Højbjerg in there. And when Bentancur came in, he solved that problem.
He has Moussa Dembele sort of techers under pressure. Does. He actually has Moussa Dembele kind of dribbling ability. So.
I'll never forget the game against West Ham where he's running towards the goalkeeper. 2 West Ham players come either side and he just thinks back between the two.
The coolest head in the building. He really is the coolest head in the building.
It was unbelievable. It was unbelievable. But Kuva, on talent alone, and look, I know our jersey is sacred and no one ever, should ever walk in and just have the right to grab that jersey and walk out and play. You should always earn the right on the training pitch and stuff like that. But on ability alone, Kuva, does Basuma walk straight into this midfield?
Yeah, he does for me. Straight in for Højbjerg, no messing. I always feel sorry bringing up this subject. Feel sorry for Ellie because she's such a big, big
Højbjerg fan. Very proud of what you say here, Kuva.
Yeah, but for me, Basuma does all those bits that Højbjerg can't. He can get around the pitch much more easily for a start. Højbjerg always looks susceptible for being pressed. I'll always see mistakes in him when that's happening. Basuma can sidestep people. He can shrug them off. He's just physically stronger. He's press resistant in a lot of ways. His passing range, I think, is very underrated. Basuma, I think it's right up there.
Mika Johnston.
I don't know what to say to that.
We have to. Look, I'm going to take it off screen because it's disturbing, Kuva. But Mika, we need to have a conversation. Email me, my man. Email me. That's not allowed. I'm sorry. I know you say it is, but it's just not. It's just so wrong on all sorts of levels. It's like people supporting United and City or United and Liverpool, Celtic and Rangers. You're just not allowed to do it. You got to pick one or the other. Michael Johnston. I'm sorry about that. That's not on. That isn't on. But sorry, Kuva. I'm sorry to throw that out the screen. That was awful of me.
You got to think about banning people eventually. I think Basuma's exactly what we've needed for a long time. As already mentioned, he is that one that finally looks to address replacing Dembele. We've been missing that for a long time. Somebody that does have that strength on the ball. You cannot just brush them aside. He's the one that can dominate the opposition. He's the one that does the pressing and gets other people off the ball, not the other way around. Bentancur is the natural foil for him. I think he's a cultured footballer, a good passer of the ball, reads the game well. He's not a ferocious tackler, but he does time the tackles well.
Yeah, he's getting a bit more ferocious.
Yeah,
he's been stuck in,
certainly. I think he's got a lot to his game, though. for me, that's the natural pairing. Højbjerg, I'm quite happy for him to sort of drop to the bench and come on when needed. I'm not going to be having kittens about him coming on. I'll just
the point you made about pressing too, like Bentancur, it's like you kind of don't want to press him because he might embarrass you, in a certain moment, like he did against West Ham. Make you look kind of silly, at certain stages, or honestly, the way the guy handles sometimes pressure, it really is like he almost loves having somebody
although to be fair,
to pull off like a bit of Benton sauce.
To be fair, Sevilla pressure made him look pretty uncomfortable at times as well. We were all of our players were struggling against their press, but their press is such a well-oiled thing. They're such
Lopetegui is a good manager.
Yeah, such a professional unit. Yeah, great manager. Everybody knows exactly their role. A nightmare to play against, and they'll show that against all sorts of teams this season. So I'll just think our midfield's looking pretty strong now. Skippy, I love, but he's a long way off being the finished article yet. He's still developing. I'm hoping he develops into more a Barella type role than looking to be just another Declan Rice sort of player. I'm hoping he develops into that really sort of nasty streak, a few unnecessary bookings to go with roughing up people all over the pitch. A real terrier-like attitude I want to see from him. Perhaps getting himself into the box a bit more as well, proper box-to-box style. Hopefully, because it gives us that little bit of contrast to what we've already got. You'd look at Basuma saying he's more of a defensive midfielder, although obviously he does have the attributes to go box-to-box. I'd say he's more naturally inclined to be that holding player, and when we're playing the double pivot, it would be a natural for it with Bentancur for me. Midfield's looking good to me. Do
you know, I agree on what you say about Basuma, and if you remember the way Højbjerg was playing the last sort of 8 to 10 games, he was also being asked to do the box-to-box role, starting to get forward and stuff like that. So maybe Basuma can just slot straight in there. It would be ideal. And look, at the end of the day, as much as me and Jack love Højbjerg, at the end of the day, competition will only do the guy good. And let's see if he can respond to it at the end of the day. I'm not opposed to having competition here whatsoever. But look, guys, we are going into the last question, and we will be talking about Richarlison. So everybody, make sure you have smashed that like. Over 500 people in house. And if you are leaving as we're ending, please smash it on your way out. That'd be absolutely beautiful. And guys, feel free, last opportunity to get any super chats in for any discussions for myself, Jack, Kuva, Philip, anything you think we haven't touched on or that we've missed, feel free to get it in and we will have a discussion on it. But look, the last one I want to talk about sort of is Richarlison, and let everybody, there will be a lot more to talk about going into the season. It's just it's preseason. It's hard to kind of find what to talk about going into these games. But I do want to have a little bit on Richarlison. And Jack, Richarlison played both games out in Korea and did well. But having played out on the right in the last game versus Sevilla, it was nice to see how he get on with Son and Kane. But do you want to see him more through the middle to see what he can offer? And should we start to see more from him today as the start of the season is closing in?
Dave, just quickly, Rob Wallace just gifted the 5 memberships just now. He gifted it to Golden Cockerel, who's Romero's biggest fan, as we know. Harrison Michael, Philly, love Philly, KM Hong, and then Bob Coys as well. Absolute legend, giving away 5 memberships. What an absolute legend, Rob Wallace.
Big up, Rob. Absolute legend. You're way too kind to these people, my man. You're way too kind. But eventually you're going to gift the whole Harris Army one, my man. Absolute legend.
Appreciate you, Rob.
Legend. What a top
everybody,
guy.
Pop on the fan show with what Rob has given you, everybody.
And Rob, when are you going to come on and speak to us, brother? When are you going to come on and speak to us?
He wants everybody else to come on before him, it looks like. Pick up Rob all the way out in New Zealand. Absolute legend. But to answer the question, Dave, just want to say quickly, I think what I find funny is with Richarlison versus Jesus is Richarlison, I don't know if people realize this, but Richarlison's actually younger than Jesus by like a month or something like that. And I feel like with Jesus, we keep calling him, especially the Gooners, Dave, they call him like, oh, he's such a talent. Like, oh, he's just such a young generational like phenom, and all these sort of words about like how talented and how young he is and like all these things. And it's just kind of funny to me because Richarlison's actually the same age as him. In fact, a year younger. So they sort of like give Jesus this sort of like benefit that, he has all this life ahead of him. But Richarlison is kind of seen as this like guy who's like been here, for a while, kind of, been around, kind of done, people are used to him. People have maybe even gotten sick of him, I think is kind of the case, with Richarlison. But that's what I do find quite funny is he actually is the same age as Jesus and sort of has, had to do it on his own a lot longer than Jesus. And to get to the essence of the question, I want to see him play through the middle actually lots of times, Dave. And the way I kind of would like to see him play through the middle is if we did experiment with the 3-5-2. What if we did Sonny, Richarlison, Kane behind them? I feel like, you fix that creative midfield problem because Richarlison, he gives you that, off the ball work that, you would need from a striker. He would press the back line. He would make life difficult, for the center backs. They wouldn't have, easy passes. You'd probably knock them over, after they play, pass a bit of shithousery. Sonny's kind of the same, works really hard off the ball. And then you sort of have Harry Kane just kind of sitting in that pocket. And he's already kind of in the best shape of his life anyway. So I feel like you could kind of get away with him, maybe playing that number 10 role. So that's how I would see Richarlison, playing through the middle or playing up top as if we did a 3-5-2 and Harry Kane kind of just plays slightly behind them through the middle.
Interesting. And Coover, or sorry,
in front
Philip,
of them.
Sorry?
Whatever. Yeah, I got mixed up with front and behind.
Sorry. Philip, would you like to see what Jack is saying there? Maybe look, test Richarlison and Son up front with Kane being that creator role if it's called upon during this season. Would you like to see it tested out?
Well, why not? I mean, if you take Kane, just take Kane's performance against Manchester City, for example. Probably the greatest single performance by any player in the Premiership last season, where he dropped deep, still managed to score 2 goals, but was the creator in chief. So, why not? I mean, fluidity, interchangeability, and moving things around are going to be the key word for Spurs this season. We're not going to be predictable. We're going to be very unpredictable. And that's the way, keep them guessing. So, yes, I'd say there'd be an awful lot of permutations used, and that would be a very, very good one to try out. Not in every game, but in certain matches. When you're playing a team that you're trying to draw them out, let Kane drop deep. Because he's shown he can do it. So,
Yeah. 100%. And do you want to see maybe a bit more from Richarlison today as well, Philip? Maybe find the back of the net.
Yeah. Why not? Yeah, I mean, he's getting to know the team. We're getting to know him. But getting to know what his runs are like takes a little bit of time. Players now have 2 matches behind him to see what's happening, what he does. So I'm expecting more from him, and he'll want to get off the mark before the season starts as well. And plus the fact I can see him leaving a few tackles in there today as well.
Yeah, 100%. Look, I really like Richarlison. I like the way he went in and defended Sonny at the end during the Sevilla game as well. But Kuva, I mean, what's your thoughts on Richarlison so far? Do you expect more? Do you want to see more? Do you think Conte will be expecting more from him today?
I think it's going to be much more a game that suits him today than it was against Sevilla. Sevilla, they were just pressing him so intensely. Regularly, they'd have 2 people on him. That you could see he was angered by it.
And the referee wasn't giving him anything.
Yeah, very, very little support he was getting as well. Different game today. He can put himself about a bit, be a bit naughty and create a bit of havoc in and around their area. That's what we want him for. Why not? Let's have a goal from him. That'll be nice. But even if he doesn't score, you just want to see that creation of shots or attempts at goal in any sort of way, whether it's coming in from crosses or him creating them himself or just getting into the right positions. So there's real goal threat to his game. That's all we want to see. If they go in or not, doesn't really matter in a friendly. Just get into the positions and show that you're on the right track. That's what I want to see, because he was just being marked out of it against Sevilla, and it was disappointing.
Yeah, he found it tough against Sevilla, and look, hopefully today he can turn up with the bit between his teeth and really go at it. Look, I don't think he's been awful by any means. I think, look, he didn't have any of the pre-season sort of work before some of the people were doing before they got to pre-season. He kind of just turned up. Maybe he's about a little bit behind people at the minute, but hopefully today he can produce a good performance if playing. We'll just take some of these super chats and then we will end off. Guys, 518 people in the house. If you want to see more of this, join us back here for the watch along starting at 2:30. Tune in for that. Look, they're usually a good laugh, so do tune in. That would be absolutely awesome. Emily Dunn says, absolutely great stream, lads. Come on, you Spurs. Big up, Emily. Really appreciate the support. We've got I touched pigeons. I mean, look, whatever you into, I won't kink shame. So look, but big yourself up, my man. Really appreciate the support. Oh, there's some sick, funny people out there. And then we've got Ben Kaufman. Bob's bestie is going to score a hattie today. Come on, you Spurs. That'd be nice. That would really, really be nice if he came in and done that. But big up, Ben. Really appreciate the support, my man. And everyone, Bob Coyes is saying, like and subscribe, guys. Is absolutely free. Really do appreciate that, my man. But look, before we go, as always, we do like to plug some channels. So, Jack, where can people find you, my man?
I would just encourage everybody in the Harris Army to check out Dave and I's, kind of 2020 or 2021, 2022 kind of, Premier League predictions. It came out really late. But you get to hear a few truth bombs from Dave, as well as a few howlers, from myself. I actually want to, maybe a good kind of hint is Dave, I'll spoil it, really believed in Ole Gunnar, Shoeshiner, in the beginning of that season, despite, making all the jokes about him mid-season. Dave, came out as kind of a closet, kind of Man United believer, when I rolled back the tape and I was watching it back. So things like that, you get to see my spot on prediction about Dean Smith. Yeah, I still put, Aston Villa in 9th place or something like that. Ridiculous. Honestly, some real howlers, really good laugh. Only 30 to 40 minutes, just kind of watch, maybe just have a bit of dinner in front of you, maybe do a bit of dishes or something, and I think you'll really enjoy it. So I would just say check that out.
No, everybody do check it out. As you can see here, the link is in the chat, guys. So all you have to do is click on it. We've made it easy for you. Just click on it, get over there, smash the subscribe button. Philip, I presume it's THFC till I die, my man, is it?
Yeah, well, I'll be on there, all right, and on here. And actually, I'm just after getting a bit of terrible news there. A friend of mine, the guy I shared the drumming duties with in Dublin, is after dying in hospital. So I'm a bit just put out by that. So all I can say is rest in peace, Mick O'Brien. You're a legend.
Yeah.
So sorry to bring it down a bit, but it's just after getting the text there a minute ago. But yeah, I'll be on the Dermot's channel on here as well on the fan shows and other things. And let's get this season rocking.
100%. Everybody do get over there to THFC till I die. Smash that subscribe button. And they're so close to 500. Let's see if we can get it done. But big up. And look, Philip, I know you're going through a tough time, my man. But look, hopefully.
He's a good mate.
Yeah. 100%, my man. It's tough. And Kuva, which one are we doing today, brother?
Big up, Philip. Sorry to hear the news, mate. I'm going to be doing a watch along with Shawnee on Spurs Talk Show soon after. So it's going to be fierce competition for you boys. Obviously, it's a bit weird with the watch alongs, isn't it? Because everybody just does their own thing at the same time. Can't avoid competing with people. Otherwise, it's Bob Spur in the evening, Bob Spur TV. That's the one I really want to big up the most because he's still in the last sort of street of his charity drive for the NHS after coming out of the coma that everybody knew about over the start of the year. And getting close to the £3,000 mark. And on the 15th, it will be the cut-off point. Whatever's raised at that point will be doubled by a very generous group of people connected to charity work as it is. And it will go to the Princess Alexandra Hospital, I believe it is, where Bob got so much great treatment from and got him through, literally saved his life.
Yeah.
So so if we can get people over there and just give in a couple of quid anything he can spare, try and get that total up to 3,000 because it'll be lovely to see Bob on the 22nd of August go and hand over a check for $6,000. It'll be that'll be fantastic. That's the goal anyway.
That would be absolutely unbelievable. Guys, do get over there, check out the channel. Good show on tonight. And also, let's help Bob and the good work that he's doing at the minute, guys. Let's help Bob with all the good work that he's doing. And let's get over there. And if you can, help out. But look, guys, we're going to end it there, everybody. We will end it there. It's been a great show. I want to say thank you to Jack, who was up at 6:30 this morning to come on. I want to say a massive thank you to Philip and Kuva as well, who always come on these pre-match bump-ups and help out. So I really appreciate you guys. And everybody, It's absolutely nothing without you guys tuning in. We would not be here. So I want to say a massive thank you to all you out there. I want to say a massive thank you to everybody who helps like, subscribe, tunes in, gets your comments in the chat, and everybody who helps out with super chats to keep this channel going and keep supporting this channel. It's absolutely unbelievable. And guys, we will see you back here at 2:30. As always, come on, you Spurs. Into content we trust. Straight back here at half 2, ready for the big one. Come on, you Spurs.
Big up the NHS.
Don't say we trust.